Thanks for tuning into the BoshNRoll channel. Liking and subscribing the channel is free and easy, and it helps me out a lot. If you want to go a little farther with your support, I have Patreon and YouTube membership available, which includes access to the BoshNRoll Discord server, early access to things I'm working on, sideboard plans, cards I'm buying. You could have me play your deck on the channel, and the highest tiers come with individual coaching sessions. If you use the YouTube membership option, you get sweet, unique YouTube badges and emotes for the channel. If you want to play what I'm playing, you can use the code BoshNRoll to support my channel while you shop for cards at tcgplayer.com. And if you're playing on Magic Online, a cardhoarder.com loan account can let you play any deck anytime. If you want to wear your support, there is BoshNRoll merch available. All of these links are in the video description below. Thank you so much for watching. Now let's go play some Magic. Hello and welcome back to another BoshNRoll video. Today I'm playing Legacy, and this is a seriously crazy deck from subscriber Chino. And what Chino has me doing here is mono green Tooth and Nail combo. Tooth and Nail is a card originally printed in Mirrodin, where for 7 mana, you can choose one, search your library for 2 creatures and put them in your hand, or put 2 creature cards from your hand onto the battlefield, and then you can entwine it for 2 extra, which means you get to do both. So for 9 mana, you get to search your deck for 2 creatures and put them into play. The combo here is you search for Emrakul the Aeon's Torn, who is a 15/15, and Xenagos God of Revels, who at the beginning of combat on your turn, target creature gets +X/+X and haste, where X is its power. So you get to attack with a 30/30 Annihilator 6 immediately when Tooth and Nail resolves. That is the big banger at the top of the deck. How are we planning on resolving this 9 mana spell in Legacy though? Let's check it out. Arbor Elf combos with Utopia Sprawl and Wild Growth. These are 1 mana enchantments that make your lands tap for 1 extra mana. And Arbor Elf untaps target land, or untaps target forest. So if you have Utopia Sprawl on a forest with Arbor Elf, you have 4 mana. So this ramps faster than regular Llanowar Elf does, provided that you have the enchantments to support them. And this does a pretty good Llanowar Elf impression just on its own. For the purposes of this deck, Arbor Elf is where you want to be. Rofellos, Llanowar Emissary, Cube All-Star, Band and Commander. This card taps for a green for each forest you control and costs green. Most of the lands in the deck are forests. There are 11 forests, 1 Cradle, 2 Nykthos. Courser of Kruphix helps you hit your land drops. You can look at your top card and play it if it's a land, and whenever you play a land, you gain 1 life. This also costs green for Nykthos considerations. This slot, when Chino first sent it to me, was Steel Leaf Champion, the 5/4 for green that can't be blocked by creatures of power 2 or less. I replaced that with Endurance. It has almost as many green pips, and it's just a better Legacy card, and it's also a giant body. It just fills more roles. It fills all the same roles, plus an extra one, which is help you not lose on turn 1. Eternal Witness, to do all the stuff again. Garruk Wildspeaker, pretty exciting. Untap 2 target lands. On the surface, Garruk is 2 extra mana per turn, but if your lands are tapping for more than 1, be it Cradle, Nykthos, or something wearing a Utopia Sprawl, this represents a lot more than 2 mana per turn. It's also an alternate win condition. You can -1 to make a beast. You can make 3 beasts before this dies, just 4 mana beast, can put real pressure on a battlefield, and it kind of has to spend 1, win the game. If you have any sort of board presence at all, you untap 2 target lands and then overrun your board for -4 on the following turn. The classic Lorwyn standard play pattern. And there are a lot of random shitters around in this deck that could get in for more damage. Those are all the ramp elements. There's also a Green Sun Zenith package in this deck. So we get to play a bunch of bullets. Collector Oof, really powerful in the matchups where you want it. So powerful I have a second one in the sideboard as well. Scavenging Ooze when you need to control a graveyard. You could even Zenith 4, Rofellos, or Arbor Elf if you're trying to ramp. Answer an artifact enchantment, grind into a grindy game. Eternal Witness to rebuy your Tooth and Nail if they counter the first one. And I have Allosaurus Shepherd, which can make your green spells uncounterable, and all your spells in this deck are green. All the spells you're going to cast anyway. I guess you could cast Emrakul, it's not out of the question. But most of the time you'll be putting that one in with Tooth and Nail. And that is the deck. It's pretty straightforward. The crop rotation was something I added right at the end after I worked on a bunch of these other card choices. It seems to me like Nykthos and Cradle are going to be really important, and you can't play a whole lot of them because you do need to have forests in play to get off the ground, but once you're off the ground, you want these cards. And there's not a whole lot of ways to dig for or put them into play. Like there's 2 Elvish Visionaries that can draw a card. Courser of Krufix gives you a little bit of extra selection. But crop rotation, go get that Nykthos, jam it into play, let's go. That's kind of what I want. There's a little bit of awkward tension because you're trying to load up your forests with these enchantments, so crop rotating them away is not ideal. But hopefully you'll have an extra land laying around that you can turn into a Nykthos when you're ready to party. That's what I've done with this main deck. The sideboard is just a million ways to not lose to combo, and then a million ways to beat blue. Veil of Summer protects you from Tendrils of Agony and counterspells and Abrupt Decays. We all know what Veil of Summer does at this point. Also happens to be a green card. 3 chokes. Originally I had 4, but I figured we could back it down to 3. This solos a lot of blue matchups, just beats them by itself. Carpet gets ahead of Soft Permission, Collector Oof for those artifact matchups, Mindbreak Trap for the Storm decks, and Surgical Extraction for the Busted Graveyard decks. And that is the deck. I'd be extremely happy with this deck in Cube. I'm not sure how it's going to translate into Legacy, but I'm ready to give it a try. Let's get in there. I am on the play in round number 1, and I have some pretty good ramp here. I'm going to keep it. You don't really want Rurik Thar in your hand. This is a Greensun Zenith bullet for combo matchups. But let's see if we can get up to it quickly. Happy to start on a Wild Growth. I'll probably keep any hand that can accelerate over the course of this league. I have the bonus of my opponent thinking I'm on Enchantress right now, because Basic Forest Wild Growth is an Enchantress play. And I'm just going to juke in a different direction. A Volcanic Island from them. Okay. Alright, what is the best use of my mana here? I can Elvish Visionary, see what happens, leave up crop rotation. I could also Zenith. I don't think I want a Zenith for the Harbor. I think this Zenith is going to be better than that once I ramp up a little bit. And just hold on to this crop rotation. There's also 1 Taiga in the deck, which I don't currently have access to, so aggressively ramping into Rurik Thar doesn't seem really important. My opponent has a basic island. Oh, Painter Servant. Alright, well, pretty glad I didn't spew my Zenith. I'm going to need to destroy that thing immediately. They're a blue-red Painter of some variety. I could fetch my Taiga right now. Yeah, I think I like that. I don't think they're going to have Wasteland in their deck. And this thins out lands that I could draw from the deck that I don't really want. Oh, wait. I think Zenith for Oof's going to be better than Zenith for... Oh, no. I'm going to Zenith for the Rexage. Because if they have Pyroblast in their hand, they can just zap my Oof. They had Force of Will anyway. Got it. Work through that one. We could die this turn. Let's hope we don't. They named blue with Painter Servant, so they were able to pitch Soul Guide Lantern to Force of Will. I love Painter Servant. Even if I lose to it here, I still love the card. Love the decks. Endurance. Are you helpful? Is my opponent holding up Red Blast at this point? If so, what does that mean for me? I'm going to put in a Scavenging Ooze. I'm going to try to challenge this board enough that they need to respond to it. Though I think if they had Red Blast, they would have blasted my Wild Growth land. Fire Blast targeting my Ooze. Okay. Is what they had. Alright. I'm just going to hold up Endurance. And then maybe try to get Rurik Thar into play next turn. Though this Painter being in play and the Pyroblast all just being on is really bad news for me. I'm pretty impressed they didn't just blow up my land, though. I feel like that is a pretty clean way to do that. Or pretty clean use of a Pyroblast. They did not shuffle that Ponder. They have another Ponder. Okay. Crop rotation is some insurance. Like if they do try to blast my land, I can rotate it into a different land. I still lose the Wild Growth, but I get a Cradle or whatever. Fired Spellbomb. Powerful stuff. They did not shuffle that other Ponder either. Okay, let's cast Endurance. See what happens. I think I target myself with Endurance because getting that Greensun Zenith back into the deck is non-zero value to me. That is one of my better cards. Okay, they are on the you don't get any spells planned forever. Does crop rotation actually ramp? It does not, because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I only have the 1 creature. They've managed to counter all my creatures so far. Rurik Thar costs 6. Nykthos takes 3 pips to break even. So I don't actually have a line to ramp at all. I guess I just have to pass and hope they don't have Grindstone. They have one card left in hand. If it's Grindstone, we lose. Murktide Regent. Oh, maybe I should have put this Endurance on this deck. Okay. Rurkthar has to attack every turn, which is not good when my opponent has an 8/8. Okay. Here's my Endurance, awkwardly. It is still a creature for the purposes of Gaia's Cradle, if I find it. Ooh, Xenagos. What do you do? Nothing now, but you can absolutely smash with Rurkthar next turn. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't think I need to rotate right now. I want to get my Xenagos into play. If my opponent had any thoughts before, now they don't know what's going on. My devotion is 6. I'm actually one short of Xenagos just being in play as an indestructible 6/5. We definitely got a reader. They had to think about that one. All right, I'm going to buff my Endurance. I'm not going to attack because an 8/8 is still bigger than what I'm doing here. If their hand really is just like nothing, well, Brainstorm hurts that plan a lot. But Rurkthar can arrive next turn, and which turns on Xenagos, and I get to attack for 12, 18, 21. That's a big attack. And they can't cast any spells because they take 6 for each one. The way they can break this up is Pyrite Spell Bomb, my Visionary, in response to crop rotation, so I can't tap Cradle for 2. Do I want to Utopia Sprawl, or do I just want to spin? I think I want to Sprawl. I'm going to name green for that. I have a red source. I'm good. Green, crop rotation. I think Nykthos is better at this point than Cradle. So Cradle taps for 3. Is Nykthos better? It taps for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, that's a lot more than 3. Those. Make a green equal to my green. And cast Rurkthar. There he is. Please don't counter it. They can't force. They don't have the mana to hardcast it, and they don't... fuck you. Fine. Whatever. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Pyrite Spellbomb can take me off Devotion. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, so I need to target Endurance. And then, in case they realize that they can take me off of... I wish I could target Xenagos, but if I lose Devotion mid-combat, then that's no good. Bummer. Brainstorm is such a fucked up card. Pyrite Spellbomb. Xenagos loses Devotion. They'll get in for 6. They can make a 2/2 construct next turn. And this top card, they didn't shuffle their Brainstorm, so this is a card that they put back with Brainstorm. Just hope it's not a good one. Okay. Land, I can live with. Alright, deck. How about a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's find a banger spell here. Like something that'll keep this game going, or something that'll end the game. Let's go. No! If I could activate Xenagos. Alright. We're just one short. One Devotion short. That game was really close in a lot of directions. If that Green Sun Zenith resolved the first one, kicking out the Painter Servant, and there are 3 Red Blasts they cast that game, or is it 4? 3 or 4 Red Blasts they cast this game, didn't have targets, we would win easily. Obviously that's not what happened, so no use crying over spilled milk, but that one was pretty competitive even with their nut draw, somehow. I think I want the Veils, because if they paint everything blue, Veil of Summer also stops the Vindicate mode on Red Blast. And Oof is going to be good regardless. I'm not convinced on Scavenging Ooze. What else isn't great here? In Rurkthar lines up really poorly against Murktide Regent, because Rurkthar 6/6 Vig has to attack if able, and players take 6 if they cast a non-creature. And we would feel pretty bad to just ram that into an 8/8 or 7/7. So that's 2 cards out. I'm going to keep my combo. I need my Rex Age, of course. Visionary's nice at bridging the gap. Like, it's just a role player. I'm not in love with it, obviously, but it does play a role. Tracker's alright. Maybe I don't need all 3 Courser of Rufix. And Eternal Witness, might not have time for all that. Bring this in. They did have islands in their deck for the chokes or the carpets, but I'm not sure that that's where I want to be. So where else would I be? They can destroy a choke if they want to. Maybe I have to go thinner on the Tooth and Nail because I'm playing in a combo matchup and in one choke. Maybe one of these endurances should be another choke also. Okay, I'm going to do it like that. They had a lot more islands than I originally thought about. These decks frequently play on basic mountains and artifact lands and stuff, but this particular build did have a bunch of islands in it. Oh yeah. Keep this one. I got ramp into Rofellos. Lots of ramp, in fact. Wild Growth. And because I'm playing against a deck that has Vindicates in it, functional Vindicates, I think I need to spread around my Wild Growth effects, when normally I would want them all on the same land for Arbor Elf purposes. Ponder. Did not shuffle. Ooh, okay. Maybe that changes things. I fetch. I'll get the Taiga, so I have it. And then Utopia Sprawl. Full name green. And Arbor Elf and Rofellos are coming in. Let's go. There's my creatures. I have 6 mana, 7, 8, 9. I have 9 mana. I can Tooth and Nail. There's a Saga. You got it. If I draw a forest, I can also... Oh, shit. Fucking Aether Spellbomb. At least it's not Pyrite. I will get another chance at this. The Arbor Elf is worth more mana than the Rofellos right now. They don't believe that, though. Oh, I drew the forest. I would have been able to Greenstone Zenith for 1, getting Shepherd, Allosaurus Shepherd, and then Tooth and Nail all at the same time. What am I going to do this turn? So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 mana right now. I could Zenith for the Shep. I could also Zenith for a Rexage and just kill their Saga. So I think the Shepherd is where I want to be. I'm going to swing for the fences here. Try to win next turn. Kind of hope they force this. I don't know. And if they go like Painter, destroy your loaded up land, I'm wrecked. Maybe I should have done it for 2 just to make them think about something. I don't know. I have a lot of free mana sitting around here. So this long pause indicates to me they do have a counterspell, but only one maybe. We got the Force of Will, pitching Brainstorm. Here's Rofellos, and I'm going to attack for 1, show them who's boss. Okay, please don't Vindicate my land. They're moving pretty quick on this 3 mana. Fuck. Okay, they're passing the turn. On deck, Allosaurus Shepherd off the top. Oh, that's even better. Alright. 1, 2, 3. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Tooth and Nail, Conqueso. Search a library for 2 creatures, reveal them, put them in your hand, and then, alright, yep, here we go. And Veil of Summer. Please don't have Force of Will. I guess I could have led on Veil to make sure this actually happens. Ah, it's happening. I always play for the blowout, which I probably shouldn't. I'm going to get Xenagos and Emrakul. Put 2 creatures from your hand onto the battlefield. Xenagos and Emrakul. Okay. And we go to combat. And we jam. Oh, yeah. Genopile. Yeah, that's a 30-30. In we go. This rules. Veil of Summer, FT dubs. On the draw now, I think I might have to be more aggressive about staying alive rather than trying to win. So I think all 3 chokes need to be in the deck. And is it Garruk? I'm trying to just find one of the clunkier cards. I mean, the clunkiest card is Tooth and Nail, but that is also my win condition. So I'm gonna shave a Garruk. Okay, there we go. This is the deck. Game 3. This hand ramps like a monster, but doesn't really go anywhere. I'm gonna keep it for science. Opponent mull to 6. Ponder. Yeah, I have a lot of banger draws. Like, I am all dressed up and ready to go places. The Courser gives me some card selection, but it's kind of slow. I'm going to lead on Arbor Elf, so it's off of Summoning Sickness next turn when I go deep on my sprawls. Another Ponder. It really sucks that we're playing against a deck that can destroy basic lands, because I'm otherwise pretty loaded up with the Utopia Sprawls. Like, I could, next turn, a green, put a sprawl on this, tap this for 2 green, put a second sprawl on this, untap it, have 4. Probably still going to do that. Can I get... Okay. I can't get Courser into play if I don't make my land drop first. Make green out of that. Make green green. Put another sprawl on here. That one's also green. Untap my land. 4 green. Here's Courser. Green Sun Zenith on top. Fucks to the yeah. And there's Arbor Elf. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I can Zenith for 10 next turn. Assuming I don't get Vindicated. Seem to be cracking a fetch land. Not great for me. Brainstorm. Okay. It costs 3 mana to Vindicate something from 0. Like, they need the Painter and the Red Blast and the mana to do all 3. This deck could have Lotus Petal or Spirit Guide in it, depending on how deep on the Grindstone stuff they're on. Also with Zenith, I get 2 looks at a land drop off of Courser. I'm going to draw for turn. There'll be a land on top, then I'll shuffle. I'll actually shuffle twice because of Green Sun Zenith. Not that I can do anything on the middle one. This is just a running joke. If you've never noticed, Green Sun Zenith is search your library for a green creature with mana value X or less, put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle, and then separately shuffle Green Sun Zenith into its owner's library. Like, if there is a card, there are cards that are, like, whenever a player shuffles their library, they take 2. Those cards do deal 4 damage to someone with Green Sun Zenith. Or there's a Merfolk that whenever a player shuffles their library, or whenever an opponent shuffles their library, you put a +1 counter on it, so that does get 2 counters off Green Sun Zenith, technically. It's a stupid thing. In this case, it will briefly reveal a different card on top of my deck. Brainstorm, fetch. Do they have, like, Pyroclasm in their deck? That would be kind of rough. Oh, just Murky Rage. Alright. Not the worst. Utopia Sprawl on top of the deck. Okay, what's in my deck that I want a Zenith for right now? All my fattest bangers are out. Oh, I think I just want Tireless Tracker. 1, 2, 3, 4. Zenith for Tracker. Please don't force this. I need it. Ouch. Okay. I'll gain a life here. It sucks. Now we know the top of the deck is Utopia Sprawl too, so we know we're not really drawing out of this anytime soon. That was the big exciting turn. Courser of Crufix gives and takes. Like, the losing like, when you are making land drops and see that you have Green Sun Zenith on top, it's exciting, but when you see Utopia Sprawl on top, it's not exciting. Hope I see a land on top this turn. Fuck. Okay, I think we're dead. I'm gonna make red on this one and just attack with all my creatures and gain my life from Courser. I am now hellbent. A fetch land on top is the most exciting because it gives me control. Like, it hits the land drop, also gives me control over the top of the deck a little bit. I can fetch if I don't like what I see. Veil of Summer. I don't think that's a helpful card here. Oh, I'm going to attack for what I can attack for. This attack, their next attack puts me to 4, then I don't think there's a way out of this. They would have to mess up pretty bad and cast a blue spell, and then Veil of Summer could cantrip, but alright. Yeah, having that force for my clutch Zenith. If Tireless Tracker was in play, this game would be a very different animal, obviously, but it's not. I wonder if this deck even had, like, how many grindstones this deck has. It might be just 1. This is probably just, like, blue-red rag still, or, like, without the stills, but this deck definitely is pretty low on the combo elements and very high on the control elements and tempo elements. Or they have an Unholy Heat. Okay. That's alright. I wasn't using it anyway. Okay, I am at 4. And the winner is dead. Alright. Unexciting. Didn't get to go off there. We had one payoff, needed two. I think they were probably out of gas there, but Tireless Tracker changes that game. But blue decks, rough. Murktide Region ends the game real quick. On to the next round. I'm on the draw in round 2 with a really awkward one. I never want to start a game with Dryad Arbor, and Nykthos doesn't tap for green, so this one is a mulligan. Uh-oh. Come on now. Alright. 5 we go. This is a keep. I'm going to send Dryad Arbor and one of the forests to the bottom. If I draw Wild Growth, I'm back on track. Courser can undo this mulligan kind of quickly. Oh, we'll see. I can pitch Tooth and Dell to Endurance if this is some sort of busted graveyard deck. Playing against a Polluted Delta for Volcanic Island. And perfect. Just the card you want to see when you multiply on the draw. I could block it with Dryad Arbor. I think that's worse than just like playing my game though. This is going to be a wild ride. There are things that Ragavan could steal that are really bad for me, and most things are not relevant. So if they take my Emrakul, then I don't have a combo anymore. Right, they took a land, didn't want that anyway. Really glad I didn't keep the Dryad Arbor on the draw hand against this deck full of red spells. Wander off their treasure. They still have their land drop this turn. They are just firmly going off here. Really like to find an accelerator this turn, because if I can play my Endurance around Daze on the following turn, that's a pretty good situation. Did not shuffle their Ponder. Scavenging Ooze. I can commit this to the board and see what happens, or I can wait a turn and just play around Daze, accept whatever happens here. I think I'm going to do that. I'm playing Ooze next turn where I can immediately eat Delver, gain a life, make Ooze bigger, and possibly mess with their Delirium. That sounds pretty good to me. Here they come. That's weird. Why would you brainstorm mid-combat? Just like being fancy. You could have done that in the main phase. What if you draw Ponder? Alright. There we go. They took Nykthos from my deck. I'm going to fetch first so I don't lose my Ooze to a Lightning Bolt. They're going to have to counter it. I can eat Delver at any point and take them off Delirium. Lightning Bolt targeting my Ooze, yep. Alright, eat Delver. I gain a life. They've lost their Delirium. Probably should have let that trigger resolve first, but it doesn't really matter. Okay. Done what I can so far. If I can draw a land that taps for mana this turn, I can play Endurance around Daze. But I have to play Endurance this turn even if they have the Daze. I gotta get this board stable. Yeah, they're just shredding through their deck. It's a really good time to Endurance before they get to Murk me. They could Murk off the 2 treasures, second main, and then I'm just dead. Do not shuffle. I could evoke Endurance now, but really don't want to. I think I need it. If they play Murktide here, I'm rolling the dice on this. Okay, dodged. Okay, I get to play around Daze. I'm going to cast this now to play around Force of Will. I mean, they can pitch Force, but they can't Force of Negation, and they could hard cast Force on their next turn. Arbor Elf's in there. They can Daze this one. Fine. Let's get those out of the way. I will not pay 1. I can't. I'd love to. Good thing we hit that land drop, though. Thanks, Endurance. See how long this guy holds the fort. Do they have the double bolt? Do they have the, I'm going to block Ragavan with it, probably. They milled a Force of Will. That's interesting. They must not have an answer to Endurance, then. Because Force of Will seems like the type of thing I would want if I was ahead on board like this. They have to be careful about getting Delirium, because if they're not ready to attack, the Dragon's Rage Channeler is going to have to get in. Okay, so if they crack this fetch land, they have Delirium, and then Dragon's Rage Channeler has to attack. My Endurance, ready or not, here it comes. Okay. Do they have the Unholy Heat to go with this, I guess? That's the question. Bummer. Okay, fine. Alright, Endurance is gone. I Endurance them moments ago, and they have 9 cards in their graveyard. Like, literally, I cast Endurance and passed the turn, and they have 9 cards in their graveyard already. Delver. Okay, Courser of Crewfix. Carry me home, buddy. I need you to do some work here. Zenith. If Delver flips, I'm dead. If they have Bolt, I'm dead. I'm probably dead anyway. Delver didn't flip. Rest of iteration, okay. Normally, a parade of beefy creatures and a deck that doesn't care if you steal their cards with Ragavan is a good recipe. And mulling to 5 on the draw is the bad news here. More bad news is they just exiled a Murktide Regent to Expressive Iteration. That has to fight. I'm dead to Bolt, dead to Murktide Regent, dead to everything. Alright, sure. Yeah, we had that one lost the whole time. Let's try to find some wild growths and get ahead of what they're doing. This sideboard might want some number of run afoul just to take out Murktides. I want Choke. I don't want Rurik Thar. I'm going to shave a Tooth and Nail. That is a 9-mana spell against Delver. Rex Sage doesn't matter here. Collector Oof doesn't matter here. I like the Veils and Carpets in some number. Let's see how many of these I can fit in. Choke, Eternal Witness. I like all of the acceleration. Crop rotation's kind of risky, but I think I like it. Emrakul. I could just get off the Tooth and Nail thing and try to beat them with just a green Stompy. I actually think that is the right way to do this. And there's always people in the comments telling me that it doesn't count if you're boarding out the thing that the deck does, and I'm disrespecting the deck donator. That's not true. I'm still mono green Devotion Stompy over here. This is still a different deck. When you're up against the wall with against the best deck in the format that has crazy tempo, sometimes you got to make some sacrifices. I have a pretty good hand here. It's got a couple different ramp options and powerful sideboard card. Arbor Elf on 1. Off we go. A Wild Growth or variant thereof would be pretty great. Ragavan. Okay. Zenith. I can Zenith for 1 or 2, or just cast Rofellos. I could also just jam a 3-drop onto this stack. See what happens. I think I want to play around days where I can. I'm going to cast Rofellos. I could Zenith here, actually. Yeah, I'm going to do that. If they do have a daze, I'm going to have to play into it eventually, and if they don't have a daze... Oh wow, they're just F6'd. Okay. I have unlocked the universe here. I'm not going to block Ragavan. That's just not an important axis of this game. Them getting the extra mana is probably not ideal when Choke is my plan, but I can take 2. None of these are worth blocking with. Really hope they don't have Blazing Volley right now. Give me like 1 turn with my zillions of mana before you jack me up. Under, okay. Another dig. This treasure token is now kind of scary. They did not shuffle. Okay. Killing one of them is fine. Just can't kill all of them. Nice. Utopia Sprawl on this other forest. Gonna name green. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mana. Could be more. I still have my land drop. So I'm gonna go for Courser first. And if I do that, I can also cast Daze if I find, or cast Choke. I didn't find the thing. I'm gonna attack because I'm definitely not blocking. I'm gonna block with my 2/4, not my 1/1. Aggressive Iteration, you got it. And Courser reveals the top of your library. It's not look. Some cards are look at the top card, and some are reveal the top card. This is a reveal. So my opponent does know I'm drawing Endurance. I'm okay blocking this. If they want to trade this for Bolt, I'm in. That taps them out going into this Choke turn. Yep. Deal. 1, 2, 3. Choke. And I'm not going to cast a spell into Daze here. I'm going to attack for 2. Now we start to pull ahead, I hope. Another Sprawl. Yeah, I'll take that. Sprawl. This one should make... Do I actually have any red cards in the deck? I don't think that I do. I'm still making green. And I can cast Tracker. Yeah, I'll just cast Tracker. I'll draw a land eventually. Okay, I will pay. That does let them pick up a land, untap V. Then I'm going to endurance them now to get ahead of the scariest thing they can do for 2 mana is Murktide Regent, and I just want to make sure they don't do that. Blammo. Got him. I do like the just rock solid nature of this deck right now. These green cards, relentless mana development. This is fun. Now we got to get one on the draw though. This is a 1-lander, but that 1-lander includes Carpet of Flowers. I'm going to keep this. Opponent's on 6. Ponder. I'd like to draw a land so I can play Carpet around Daze on turn 2. Or I could just jam it on turn 1. Ooh, okay, I have a 2-drop now. I should jam it now. Yeah, getting that Daze sucks pretty hard. Gonna need to draw some lands. Come on, deck. Land, 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 land. Yes, had it the whole time. Don't worry about it, opponent. Elvish Visionary for the rebuy. Land 3. Getting there. Slow and steady. Elvish Visionary is a pretty powerful card against Ragavan. Deck, it's time to draw me a land, please. I would even take Dryad Arbor, even though I wouldn't be super excited about it. But I have the crop rotation, so even if I play Arbor and they bolt it, I can rotate and we can have a little exchange around it. Bad news. I am not going to attack with Elvish Visionary because I don't want them to dash a Ragavan and get an attack in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. I'm going to keep an eye on this graveyard. I might have to just pitch Endurance on them to keep Murktide out of play. They're 1 card or 1 mana away. I guess if they just go land, jam it as a 6/6, that's pretty good. Okay, they'll have to fetch. Yeah, I'm going to cast this, exiling Eternal Witness, I think. Or probably Tracker. One of the chokes. One of the chokes. Let's get that out of here. I really can't afford to get Murktided this turn. Expressive Iteration, okay. I hope that was plan B. And that I actually did just turn off a Murktide. Iteration, exiled a Misty Rainforest that it didn't get to play. Ooh, drew the land. Is it go time? I think I want to lead on... What do I want to lead on here? Choke. That constricts them the most. Yeah, I'm going to lead on Choke. This is a must answer. Alright. Deal. Still not attacking with Elvish Visionary. They have like basic Mountain Dash Ragavan, get a treasure. That's a line I don't want to give them. Like, as weird as it is, I'm the control deck right now. The good news is if I think if they could counter Choke, they would. So I can safely imagine that they have no counter spells right now. So my Courser next turn, or Tracker, whoever I decide to go with. Or they'll just pack it up. GG. Defeated Blue-Red Delver. Fuck yeah, next round. We're about halfway through the video, so let me just remind you that if you like this deck and you want to try it out, you can use the code BoshNRoll to support the channel while you shop for cards at tcgplayer.com, and you can play any deck anytime with cardhoarder.com loan account on Magic Online. These links are in the video description below. Now back to the league. I am on the play in round number 3 with one that is a little riskier than I'm really happy with. I have the Sprawl, and I can Zenith for an Arbor. I'm actually going to keep this. I have 2 Zeniths, so I'm going to Zenith for Dryad Arbor on turn 1, and then I can try to Sprawl up into something on turn 2. Or do I Sprawl first, see if I draw a land, or Zenith for Arbor Elf? This is tricky. Hopefully I just draw a land and it's easy. I think Zenith for Arbor makes the most sense. It's a play I'm not going to get away with on the draw, so while I'm on the play, I'm going to try to make it. There we go. Alright, we're going to draw a Forest, cast Courser, and no problem. On deck. Easy money. This, Utopia Sprawl, my basic Forest. Take green out of that. I'm going to Eternal Witness to try to get back my land. If they want to respond to this, it's okay. Like, I would rather Courser resolve next turn if they do have a Daze. And if they don't Daze this, they'll never Daze anything because I'll have 4 mana. I guess I already have 4 mana. I'm going into 5 here. Yep, I'll take that, please. Alright, cool. That worked out well. I love when you keep a 1-lander and get there immediately, because then your hand is full of dope spells. They brainstormed in response to Eternal Witness, didn't fetch, didn't shuffle. Weird. I'm gonna play Courser. I still have my land drop for the turn. Ding, 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 ding. First time we got there on that. Oh, there's Nykthos. Hell yeah. I'm to attack for 2 and hope they're not a show and tell deck. I think my plan next turn is to Zenith for Rurik Thar. Oh, they are a show and tell deck. Damn it. I was doing so good. Please don't have it. Let me Zenith for Rurik Thar next turn. They're tapping 3 mana. Fuck. I'll put in Endurance. They had Omniscience. I target nobody because it doesn't matter. And they have the Emrakul. Yep, okay. Fine, fine, fine. Bummer. That was such a good start. Yeah, combo decks are going to be bad for us every single time. Mono green is not well known for beating show and tell. Options include Choke. Veil of Summer probably doesn't matter much. Rurik Thar is going to be really important. If I can get that into play before I'm dead, it'll really limit what they can do. I don't think Mindbreak Trap is very good. If they show and tell Omniscience, cast a spell off Omniscience, and then the third spell they cast I can hit with Mindbreak Trap, leaving Emrakul in the deck as a card that could just be in my hand for a show and tell is kind of fun. Cards that don't matter, Collector Oof. Rex Sage in hand is a really big deal. I can put this in and flip an Omniscience. Where am I going to find 2 more cuts? One of the Tooth and Nails can go. I do want a combo kill if this game gets into like garbage time when the show and tell deck just hits its fail rate, which it frequently does. Endurance being a flash threat doesn't really matter because I'm not holding up counter spells. I could technically get 2 Utopia Sprawls naming blue, or 1 naming blue and an Arbor Elf, and hardcast Mindbreak Trap. That seems wild. So I don't really want Xenagos in the deck, but if I cut Xenagos, then there's no reason to have Tooth and Nail either. I guess I could Tooth for like Emrakul Rurik and just, okay, go, good luck. The chokes are required. The last option here, I could also 7 mana Tooth and Nail and just put 2 things in my hand for the inevitable show and tell. Like I could just get Rurik Thar and Rex Sage and let them cast show and tell. I don't know. Maybe the Tooth and Nail actually sucks, and I should have Veil of Summer. Veil. Do I want Mindbreak Trap? I think I want the Veils to try to just power cheese through them, get a choke into play so they can't cast spells and then make them dead. This sucks. Show and Tell is one of those decks that's just so hard for anyone playing fair to ever do anything against. Like, you need counter spells. I mean, like, fair non-blue. All the things that mess up normal combo decks don't really mess up that one. What does this hand do? It ramps into choke. I'll try to do that. Get my forest. Wild growth. And come on, deck. Let's find that land. I should have got the Arbor. Probably bad. God, am I getting turn 1? Arbor Elf. Okay. I could Shepherd here, or I could Zenith for Arbor and cast Arbor Elf. I think I want a Shepherd plus Arbor Elf. This hand dies to Pyroclasm, but every hand's going to die to Pyroclasm. God, the end of turn Brainstorm. That means they're close to comboing. If I were to create a sideboard with Show and Tell in mind, I think I'd be playing 4 Thorn of Amethyst. Like, maybe that's just a better anti-combo card anyway than what I'm doing. Oh, I was like, we're good. They cast Ponder, but we're not good. We're dead. I'll put in my Tireless Tracker. They put in Omniscience. One of these things is not like the other. Yep, okay. We're dead. Yeah, that matchup's horrendous. My sideboard is not built to respect it at all. And short of, like, just having Rex Sage or Emrakul in hand when they go for the Show and Tell, there's not really a plan for this matchup. If you are going to play this deck and Show and Tell is part of your metagame, you should probably have 4 Thorn of Amethyst in the sideboard. And maybe that's just a better anti-combo card than Mindbreak Trap anyway. I'm pretty interested in trying that. Cool. Lessons learned. Next round. I'm on the draw in the 4th round. I'm going to keep this hand. It's pretty solid. Got that Wild Growth. Got the Shep. I can Wild Growth into Shepherd plus Ooze. Playing against a fan of the channel. Thank you for watching, as always. Misty Rainforest. Is it the mirror match? Another volcanic island. Fine. Ragavan. Okay. Alright, cool. We have a lot of ramp here. Let's see if they're heads up enough to daze the first Wild Growth, because Wild Growth is one of those cards that if you don't daze it, you never daze anything. It's in there. All right. Time to get to work. Here comes the rag. Connecting for the Green Sun Zenith. Please cast that. Let me shuffle it into my deck. Oh my god. They are casting it. Is there a green creature in their deck? Are they Rug Delver? Oh, whoops. I think they might have thought it's any creature. That's fucking funny. Okay. How do I want to play this turn? I believe that I want Shepherd. Shepherd Ooze, is that the play? Or I could Wild Growth again and still Shepherd Ooze. Or I could just Ooze around Daze. And then I can Shepherd Courser next turn. But if they have Bolt, they have Bolt. So they can't Bolt this turn, so I'm going to resolve my things while I can. There we go. Those things are in play now. Delver, what do you got for me? Flipped Revealing Brainstorm, that's pretty good. There's that Brainstorm. If they do find a Lightning Bolt, it'll be interesting which creature they value more. Because Ooze will be bigger than Ragavan if they go after Shep, but I get to resolve all my spells if they go after Ooze. Good idea. They're going to attack first, see what I block with, and see if they can just take all my creatures, which I'm not going to fall for. I'm going to make them decide. Exile to Misty Rainforest. Don't care about that. I'm glad it's gone. If they kill Shepherd, then their hand has counterspells. If they kill Ooze, then they're worried about the board. Okay, so their hand has counterspells in it. Confirmed. Well, let's go for this. If they counter it, I can make Ooze a 4/4, because there will be 2 creatures in the graveyard. Force Pitching Daze was the play. Here is my land. I'm going to exile my Courser right now. Get Ooze up to 3/3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I can get Ooze out of Bolt range, or I can try to control Murktide Regent. I'm just going to get out of Bolt range. If they had Bolt, they would have bolted it last turn. I guess I have to block Ragavan anyway, so well, they can't bolt it straight up. I'll take that. If they want to attack Ragavan into it and finish it off with a bolt, that's a totally different thing. Aggressive Iteration, good stuff. If they don't Murktide this turn, I'm going to eat their whole graveyard next turn and make sure they can't. Then I just have to worry about Delver while I figure out the rest of my game plan. Dragon Rage Channeler exiled. There it is. That card's also pretty bad against Scavenging Ooze. If they go Delirious, it has to attack. Then I can remove Delirium and eat it in combat. I'm going to take my 3 from Delver, of course. How about a spell deck? Alright, I'll take that. That's actually completely bonkers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That gets me up to Tooth and Nail next turn. I'm going to exile Lightning Bolt and Brainstorm. Brainstorm. I kind of want them to get Delirium, but I definitely don't want them to cast Murktide Regent. Okay. I'll exile those 3 things. Okay, there's a sorcery. They already had that. Another land. I love playing decks that Wasteland doesn't do anything. Even if we lose this match, having them just throw their Wastelands in the graveyard makes me really happy. They did not shuffle their Ponder. They're bolting my Arbor Elf. Okay. Please mill a creature. Get Delirious. Get Delirious. Bad. They did not get Delirious. I'm going to take 3 here, and then I'm going to exile my Arbor Elf and something from their graveyard. I'll fetch here. What red cards are in the deck? Xenagos and Rurik. I guess I better get my Taiga in case I draw Rurik. Exile Arbor Elf and something they have 2 of. Aggressive Iteration. Nykthos. Shrine to Nyx. How much does this make? I get spend 1, 2. I get 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so that's actually just tapping for 1. I have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I could play Tooth and Nail just to search for 2 things and try to set up for next turn, but I don't think that's a line that's actually going to win any games ever. I should... Alright. I'm going to exile one of their instants, one of their lands, and one of my lands. Does that matter? Alright, one of my lands. There's Wasteland. Okay, do you want Taiga or do you want Nykthos? They're taking Nykthos, it's gone. I made fun of their Wasteland and then immediately got smashed by it. Here comes Delver. I'm gonna exile Wasteland during combat. If they play a land that's still only 6 mana for Murktide, second main, Delver. Uh-oh. What do I need to draw here? It wasn't that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I am dead here. If they just turn all their creatures sideways, even if Delver doesn't flip, I take 5. So, bummer. Tooth and Nail flooded. A little short. That Arbor Elf was my chance, and they had the bolt for it. If this deck had any ability... Alright, I guess I have Endurances and Ruriks. That's how I fight Delver. So drawing Endurance that turn, or Zenith 4 Endurance, would have been potentially stabilizing, at least for a little while. Okay, well, we've seen this sideboard plan before. We just become mono green prison. The Tooth and Nail part of the deck is not good here. Collector Oof doesn't matter, Rex Sage doesn't matter, and that's the play. It's a shame that Rurik is so bad against Murktide Regent, because it's such a cool card otherwise. This is the plan, though. Just going to choke them out. 2 Garruk Wildspeakers on the play. That's not a keep. Mulligan, okay. This one is a big ramper. I'm going to keep this and send Crop Rotation to the bottom. We're here for solidness, not necessarily for speed. So Crop Rotation isn't really what I'm looking for. There's no Tooth and Nail I'm ramping towards anymore. Lead on the Elf. I'll have 4 mana next turn. Like, if they don't kill my Elf, I can play Courser through days next turn. They killed my Elf. Okay. It's fine. Ooh, that's a good one. Carpet. And I'm going to go to my second main and make a green mana. Yes, make green. Utopia Sprawl, my untapped land. Also make green. And now I'm back above days. I get to just shove big meaty creatures into play for the next at least 2 turns. Hopefully I keep drawing spells from here. Delver, okay. And Dragon's Rage Channeler, okay. Wild Growth. Alright, Carpet, make green. Yes, make green. Wild Growth. That gets in there for free. Free. Courser. Playing around days. Get my land drop. Card advantage. Hell yeah. Drawing Veil of Summer. That's a good one. So I'll have Endurance with Veil backup on a future combat step against these 2 creatures. Delver did not flip. Ponder. Little land. If they attack with Delver this turn or a non-delirious channeler, I'm not going to block. Because that's telegraphing Lightning Bolt, and it's telling me that they value my creature more than their own. They can 2-for-1 themselves off Endurance next turn if they want to bolt a creature. They did not shuffle. Uh-oh. They can Murktide here. Okay, not anymore, they can't. No attacks, cool. Land on top. Yeah. I'm going to decline Carpet for now. Land on top. Then I'm going to fetch to get a different land for next turn. I'm going to just pass here and try to ambush them in combat and hope that they don't have Murktide Regent before combat. Delver reveals days. They'll probably shuffle this away because it's not good. Yep, there it goes. Alright, I'm going to risk the Murktide for the combat blowout, which might be a huge mistake. Alright, here they come. And they know about Veil of Summer, so they can't counter this. And they know it. They know it. Bang! The biggest ass in Legacy. Then I will block. Put one of those in the graveyard, please. They can bolt to finish it off, but that was a pretty juicy 2-for-1. And if they don't have the bolt, I'm just in business. Ragavan, don't care. That's fully under control. And then I'm going to fetch in the end step because I don't want to draw Utopia Sprawl. I'll get my Taiga. Oh, Greenson Zenith with Veil backup. Oh my god. Yes. Make green. What is in my deck right now? I can get Tracker, whose works out. I could get a second Endurance. That doesn't really do anything, though. I think I want Tracker. So 4, Zenith for 3. And I hope I find a land on top for... bummer. Did not find the land on top yet. It was pretty strong, though. If they cantrip, I might Veil just to draw a card. They'll do nothing. Land on top, let's go! I'll make green. And crop rotation is several lands next turn. So I am into that. I can crop rotate for a fetch land, and then fetch, and I get a bunch of selection from the top of my deck, as well as several clues. If Tracker survives this turn cycle, I think we're in really good shape. No attacks, no plays. Frozen over there. I will make lots of green mana. Green. Play this land from the top. Get a clue. Do I want another Courser? Sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh yeah, I have a million devotion. Sack my clue. Draw Courser. Tracker is going to be out of bolt range this turn as well. Here's Courser. When I crop rotate, I'll gain 2 life now. Rotate. And I guess I will get Cradle. It's doing... Or, no, fetch land's worth more than Cradle. I already have basically infinite mana. Well, they must have 2 counterspells because they know about the Veil in my hand. Alright, or not. Now I have another Veil in my hand. Yeah, I'm just going to get a fetch land and get a bunch of clues here. Wooded Foothills, clues. God. Zenith on top. I can Veil to draw this Zenith right now. Yeah, that sounds pretty good. Let's draw the Zenith. What else is even in my deck? Xenagos is out. Does Eternal Witness do anything? Did I board out Eternal Witness? I feel like I might have. No, I didn't. Okay. I guess Zenith for 3 will get basically anything. Oh, the Witness is literally on top of my deck. I'm like, did I board that out? Fetch. Some more clues. Rofellos. I don't think I really want that. Right now, while things are still uncounterable. I should Zenith for Scavenging Ooze, I think. I'm just going to do it for 3 to cover my bases. Got Scavenging Ooze, Endurance, Eternal Witness, which can buy back Crop Rotation or Veil of Summer. Oh, I could get Shepherd. Does that do anything? And it's Veil of Summer forever, basically. Visionary could just draw another card. But I'm drawing a lot of cards already. I think I want Ooze. I have to keep Murktide Region under control. I think that's how I lose the game at this point. And crack another one of these. Oh yeah, we're going off. Exile Ragavan and Delver from their graveyard. That was pretty dope. And I get to attack now. 6-5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Courser. They have a clean double blocks on most of my creatures here. I'm going to attack with the Endurance, though. If they double block Endurance with anything that could actually kill it, Delver would have to be involved in the block, and then I don't need Endurance to block anymore. Another Delver. That's not what you wanted. And I believe it's pretty clear that's what they drew for the turn, because it would have been in play already if they didn't. Okay, get your damage in. I'm going to gain more than 3 life this turn off Coursers. Joke on top. Yes, please. Take green. Get a clue. Investigate. Draw this choke. Harbor Elf I don't really want. I'll fetch. Get another basic forest. And then, yeah, I'll take Elvish Visionary. That's just free devotion. Oh, I'm missing some life. I could have played this other Courser first. Life points I'm not going to get. Heartbreaking. Here's Visionary. Draw the Utopia Sprawl. Utopia Sprawl. This. For green. Devotion to green. 14 green. It's still in the pool. And choke you. I guess with all this floating mana, I should eat some stuff with Scavenging Ooze. I somehow only have 1 creature in my graveyard after all that. Alright. Who can attack now? 8-7, they can't kill that. 5-5, they can kill that. Don't care about the 3-4. Okay. Another one in the books. Here comes game 3. Green Prison deck is nice. How worried should I be about Murktide Regent with Ruric Thar? If I'm using Endurance to aggressively control their graveyard and Scavenging Ooze, maybe having Ruric in there as a Zenith banger is still worth doing. Or maybe it's just Xenagos. I don't know, that's kind of close. Or do I even need a banger, or is Tireless Tracker just the way to go? I think Xenagos is actually better than Ruric Thar. Or not. I don't know. I think it's probably pretty close, honestly. What card do I want to cut? It's probably Rofellos. On the draw, being an X1 against this deck full of burn. I'm not a huge fan of that. And I'm bringing in the carpets and stuff anyway to jump ahead on mana. Yeah, I'm going to have Ruric Thar in there. It does have reach. It's really good against Delver, even though it's terrible against Murktide. Just have to aggressively control graveyards and try not to get murked. I was definitely at a point last game where I could hardcast Emrakul. This is a keep. This does have a lot of non-basic lands in it, which I'm not the most excited about, but it does have the basic wild growth to get started. Turn 1 reg. Use isn't bad. Basic forest. My only choice for that fetch land, because all of my non-basic forests are in my hand already. I think I'm playing Scavenging Ooze around Daze or holding up Veil next turn, rather than jamming Courser. I really don't want to get dazed. Oh, glad they didn't get that one. Or can't cast that one. Channeler. No land. That means they have 5 spells in their hand. Scavenging Ooze. Playing around Daze. And it's in there. May or may not matter. Lightning Bolt. I'm going to let the Delirium trigger resolve first in case they mill a creature. Or mill like anything. I'll just exile it. Okay. Exile your land, get control of what I can get control of. Ooze is in the graveyard now. Glad that's not a wasteland. And that was their draw for the turn because they didn't have it last turn. I'd really like to draw a land that taps for mana this turn and play my Courser around Daze. Shit. Alright, well, I like Courser better than Tracker here. Endurance is really the one that's going to win the game if any of them do. Force, pitching force. Yeah, that Veil of Summer would have been a good one to have right here. Playing my Arbor because I have to. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They can Murktide this turn with their treasures. Do I trade my Arbor for Ragavan? Seems kind of reckless. Yeah, I'm not going to do that. Just need mana to make this game function. My hand is full of... Oh no! 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They can cast my Ruric. If they have a land. Please don't have the land. If they have a land, they drew it this turn. Oh, what a relief. Jeez. Okay. I am just going to pass the turn here and try to Endurance on their turn. I don't think they have Murktide or they would have played it. Fearlessly attacking. Here's my Endurance. They could have dazed on a previous turn and they forced instead. So I don't think they have daze unless they drew it last turn. They forced, then they drew the land. So they have 2 cards that could be daze in their hand right now. Okay. Float blue. Crack a fetch land. What are we doing here? Oh, hard casting force. Yes. Eat it to me. You get to mill with Dragon's Rage Channeler. Let that happen first. Please don't have daze. Fail. Nice. We're in there. Then nuke their graveyard. I'm gonna block Ragavan, and then I'm gonna play Choke. I'm blocking Ragavan because the treasure could let them play through Choke, and it's clear that they don't have a second counterspell right now. Delver, okay. So I think we win. 1, 2, 3, Choke. Alright. Shields are up. Through Brainstorm, flip their Delver. Endurance has that under control. If I draw a land, I'll play Tracker. If I don't draw a land, I can Zenith for something or just play Endurance. Alright, yep. In business now. Investigate. Yeah, this one's over. Officially packed it up. Beefy green creatures beat Blue-Red Delver again. We haven't beaten anything else, but we're 2-0 against Blue-Red Delver, so maybe this is the metagame solution right here. We're on the draw in the final round, playing for that positive record. Against a fan of the channel, thank you again for watching. Help me, Jace. I will keep this hand. So there's some respectful ramp in it, and... Oh god, are you a Chalice deck? Alright, my ramp just got a little worse. Alright. Good thing Rofellos is here. Bummer. This hand would be a banger if I was on the play. And it's still a banger. It'll depend on if Rofellos sticks around. Are they going to follow up with Thought-Knot Seer or Blood Moon? I played the fetch land in case this is a Blood Moon deck. Like I want to fetch for another basic. Okay. That's not what's going on. Alright, I'll just fetch for a basic now. Get my F6 value. Pass a turn. I think... yeah, this is just going to be a race. Rofellos, go in. Please don't have Stomp. Oh, they took 3. They have the Stomp. Are you serious? Alright, well, Endurance can trade with their Rabblemaster next turn. Then I have to beat 3 Goblins. Okay, and the other Endurance can beat 3 Goblins. They still have 3 cards in their hand, regrettably. Shocked in another land. Do they have another Rabblemaster? Or is it just the Bone Crusher from Exile? Okay, they're going to combat first. So it's not another Rabblemaster. I'll at least take that. Cast Endurance. I don't think I endure anybody. Like, their graveyard doesn't matter, and I don't want those cards back in my deck. Block. I think I win this game on the play, like, every single time. Just saying. And obviously, play draw matters. And the Chalice was really good. Let's pace this game out. If they Bone Crusher now... oh, nope, this is not Bone Crusher, they have Spirit Guide. Chalice on 2. Alright. I strongly prefer that to the Bone Crusher. Ooh, that's interesting. I think I want to Endurance this turn. Or I could Shepherd. No, this is what I'm doing. It's fucking go time. I'm gonna Sprawl and Visionary this turn. Yeah, let's go. Time to punch through this garbage. One of. Allosaurus Shepherd. Disrespectful shit right here. I'm glad they took the turn off to Chalice on 2 instead of play the Bone Crusher. There's the Bone Crusher. Do they attack with the Goblins? I'll trade with one of them. 7. Another land is not bad. Utopia Sprawl. And I can play 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If I draw a land, I can shove Emrakul into play from my hand next turn. And even if I don't draw a land, I can activate Shep and make it a 5/5, which bricks combat. So I'm not going to crack this fetch land because I want to draw lands. They have 1 card left over there. Oh no, they're tapping mana. Oh, they're activating this Den of the Bugbear. This is multiple attackers, right? Yeah, when it attacks, you make a 1/1 attacking goblin. That's really good. Okay, so 3, 7. If I trade with Bone Crusher, I take 3, 4, 5, 6, and I'm at 1, 4, 5, 6, 7. I obviously have to cast Endurance. Is there a way that I can be alive for next turn? No. 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm just a little short here in basically every direction. 4, 5, 6. I have to trade the Endurance here. I think I have to trade the Shepherd also. Okay. Shame. Guess I'll fetch the Dryad Arbor. I could have done that to save a damage too. Alright, I'm dead. That became pretty competitive. I win that game on the play pretty easily. On the draw, obviously, more of a struggle. But that was exciting. What do I want? I don't really have sideboard for this deck. I think it's literally nothing. Yeah, there's nothing to bring in. We just got a race. Chips in the night. We can't even board out the Collector Roof that I don't want. So I guess they probably have Chrome Mox in their deck. Keep this. And I'm going to lead on the Arbor Elf with hopes that the Wild Growth sticks rather than the other way around. Because if they don't Chalice on 1, I have Garruk next turn. Or no, that's not true. Oh, yes it is, because Wild Growth can enchant any land. Fuck. Okay. What else we got here? I draw a forest, please. Utopia Sprawl. How do I make this work? I would have been in the Stratosphere if if they didn't have Dead Gone. Here's Nykthos. Wild Growth can enchant any land. And when it's tapped for mana, you get an extra green. Okay. That's fine with me. I can put that on there. And then I can put Utopia Sprawl on the other one. Or I could Zenith for Oh, I can Zenith for Arbor Elf and just go nuts next turn. But Garruk makes a gazillion mana next turn anyway. Yeah, I want to Sprawl. Just get my mana set up. I want to just completely dumpster a Chalice of the Void. This should also ignore Blood Moon. Like, I get red-green when I tap this thing, because this one has to attach to a forest, and this one has to attach to a land. And even if this is a mountain, it's still a land. Don't care. Ooh, Xenagos, you don't say. Make a bunch of mana. Here's Garruk. Yeah, this is a party now. Garruk, untap my lands. Then make green. 1, 2, 3, 4. I get 5 when I do this. Yeah. Zenith for 4. What does that do? Do I want a Zenith for 3? I'm not spending the mana on anything else. I'll just use all of it. Zenith for 4 just in case. Pretty sure I just want like some creature. I don't really care about Trinisphere. I could rebuy my land drop. I think I just want Courser though. Could get Visionary to redraw, but I think Courser's the play. I still have my land drop for the turn. Oh yeah. That second Nick though sucks because I already gassed up the first one. I don't currently have a red source for this Xenagos. That's a problem. I hope they cast Blood Moon. Fury. Okay. Oh, they just... Oh no, okay, that is pitch cast through Trinisphere. They tap mana, so I was like, what the hell is happening? Okay, just dealing 4 straight to Garruk. That makes sense. Alright. Pretty comfortable with that exchange. Fetch land on the top. Tracker on the top is not bad. 1, 2, 3. Here's Rofellos. An attack for 2. Tracker's really good here. I suspect their Trinisphere is hurting them more than it's hurting me. Rabble Master, okay. While my 2/4 is tapped is the time to sneak that in. I am not going to trade Rofellos for a Goblin. Really hope there's a fetch land on top of my deck. That gets me 2 clues and cast Xenagos. Alright, I'll take a regular land. 1, 2, 3. Tracker first. Then land. This ability's trigger. And then take gazillions of mana and draw this card, which makes my tracker bigger and lets me cast Wild Growth. 3, and Garruk's on top of the deck. That's a good one. I think that's all the things I can do with mana this turn. No red. I'm not going to attack. I'm on defense now. I think if they attack, I just block the goblins and let Rabble Master get through. I still lose my whole board to Fury. No, I get to keep 1 creature if they have Fury. Uh-oh, is this Chandra? Fireflux Squad. When this attacks, you may exile another target attacking creature you control. If you do, reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a creature card. Put it on the battlefield, tapped and attacking. Okay. So they can turn a goblin token into a different thing at random. Okay, here we go. Hopefully it's just like another Rabble Master. Spirit Guide, okay, even better. So in my blocks, that's a 4/2, that's 4. I get to eat the Spirit Guide for free and the Goblin token for free. And I get to keep all my stuff. Drawing Garruk for the turn. Rofellos on top, not mega excited about, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Play Garruk. And then 3. Make Devotion to green. I'm going to lose this Wild Growth now to cast this Nykthos and get another token. Another clue token. I think that's worth doing. Drawing extra cards is really good right now. Draw this Rofellos. Redundant Rofellos. Arbor Elf on top. Also unexciting. I'm going to make a Beast token. That's big enough to trade with their shit. And just 10 mana unspent. Bad news. Legion Warbus. Okay, I am almost certainly trading my Beast for the Fireflux Squad, which is the thing that is potentially out of control right now. Or it might be time to get Rabble Master off the table. Guess we'll see what happens. Flipping token into another Fireflux Squad. Okay. So if I go to my blocks, this is a 5/4. It might be big enough to beat things like real creatures next turn. If I block here and here, They lose 2 things, and I keep all my things. I take 8. This is getting a little dicey. I mean, that block's free, and I'm taking out a Fireflux squad where I can. So maybe I just trade with this. I take the same 8, and they don't get to keep generating creatures. Like, they don't get 2 free flips. They just get 1 free flip. All right, that makes sense in my brain. Okay. How about a land on top? Endurance on top? Shit. This Xenagos is really not doing great for me. Make a beast. 1, 2, 3, cast the Arbor Elf. And now I have these blockers. Drawing Endurance next turn. It's got to not take 5 somehow. I am very dead to a Fiery Confluence if they have the mana to cast it. Fireflux Squad gets to chuck 2 things into play. Here comes all the creatures. This is the last attack. Endurance is a beefer that's going to show up next turn. Gotta hope there's not an Emrakul in this deck. Oh fuck, there's a Fury in this deck. That's going to kill me. 4 damage to my tracker. Yeah, that's going to shut it down. Fury's really good. It has double strike. Okay, so now I have to block 3/3. Take the 3/3. 2/1. Take the 2/1. Ugh, I'm literally dead to this. So I have to block here. I go to 1, and they still have this double striker in play. That's really bad. I'm drawing Endurance, though, which is not the worst. Okay, this is what I got. I'm at 1. Dead to Stomp. I was a red mana away from winning this game. Like, if this Xenagos arrives at any time, just crush, but okay, fine. That was a good flip. The Fireflux squads did good work that game. 2 and 3 with this deck, which the pattern held the whole way through the league of we lost everything that wasn't Blue-Red Delver and we crushed Blue-Red Delver. I will take that as a moral victory. We did get to Tooth and Nail once. We got to attack with Xenagos once. Garruk showed up and did some stuff. This was pretty cool. I will say the Tooth and Nail angle of the deck is much worse than the green Stompy version of the deck. Like, just solid green creatures with chokes and Veil of Summers seems like a reasonable thing to be doing against the top of the metagame somehow. The Zenith package was great. Tireless Tracker was a house. I think this deck needs a little more work. Like, there were a number of times it was just like, yeah, I'm miles ahead, and then just slowly over several turns of bricking, it was like, okay, now I'm dead. And that's not somewhere I really want to be. The combo is fun. I mean, it's fun that Emrakul is actually castable. I like that Xenagos. I shouldn't say Xenagos is castable, because that's what just happened last round. That's how I lost last round. But it is technically castable. Rurik Thar, I'm not sure if this is a main deck card. Maybe it has to be for the combo matchups, but I think you're dead before you get to Rurik against them anyway. And it's so bad against Murktide Regent. Maybe this should be something else. And I do like Thorn of Amethyst in retrospect over Mindbreak Trap. I went ahead and made that change. That'll be reflected in the final list that I post. And that's the league. Thank you, Chino, for having me play this. This was a lot of fun. I hope that my tuning helps you out, gets you in the right direction. And this sideboard upgrade should help those combo matchups. This is actually effective against Show and Tell, etc., which previous versions were not. And thank everyone for watching. I hope you had as much fun watching this as I did playing it. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, join the Patreon or YouTube membership if you want to submit a crazy deck like this for me to play. That's how you do that. And we'll see you in the Discord. And I'll see you all next time. Thanks for watching.